Well, it's the 29th of April 2018. Our time with the new PUBG Desert Map Miramar on the Xbox One test server will shortly be coming to an end. So I thought it was a good time to kind of think about Miramar. How have we thought of it? How is it played? What are we looking forward to when it comes to the full game in May? And already, just in the lobby, you can see here, this is a good looking map. This is a Cowboys and Indians map. This is an open map. And I think probably as the plane comes in, let's have a look at it. My overriding feeling about Miramar is that this is a hard map. If Erengel, the first map, was an easy map, or no, was medium, let's say it's medium difficulty, Miramar takes that up to hard. The map is bigger, so it's much harder to get around. Not only because of its size, but because of the terrain. Look at how mountainous it is. And even on the ground, where it looks flat from up here, trust me, down below, it is very, very, very bumpy, with waddies, gullies, cracks, and all sorts of things to get in your way. So, where on Erengel you can just jump in a jeep or a motorbike or even a saloon car, a Dacia, and hammer it across the island chasing the blue, you simply cannot do that on this map because you'll end up flipping the car, smashing up, blowing up probably. Loot as well is difficult to come by. As you can see, the map is very big, and the towns in Miramar, or should I say the cities, they really feel like big cities. Like we're coming up to Azahar in a second, and you'll see when it spawns in, these are bigger than anything we've seen before, which means that there's lots more buildings to hunt through, lots more rooms to go through. But it's like the loot per, I don't know, per area is about the same, so you can end up spending a lot of time looking for things. I've also found that traditional way of playing, here we go, playing PUBG is to jump long like this, and then I would find a vehicle on a road and then drive even further away. But it seems like the way that they've sorted out the vehicle spawns is that vehicles tend to spawn more inside cities than on the road. So you've got to be careful. So for example, now I'm outside a vehicle, so I really need to find a vehicle, because although it doesn't look like that far to run, and I would probably make it without a vehicle, if the next circle is far away, things could be proved to be very difficult indeed. Now let's go looking for some gear. The next part really is the different type of terrain. Whereas on Erengel we mostly have trees and lots of cover from those trees and bushes. You can see how bare Miramar is, and that leads to a different type of play, which I think could even be a better type of play. Sometimes I find in final circles in Erengel, a lot of the time we end up, peeking trees, don't we? And just looking down, kind of, you'll get behind a tree and you'll be like, all right, what, go one way, go the other, or hiding in bushes. But when you're out in the open on Miramar, there simply isn't the opportunity to do that. But what there is, there's a lot more verticality in the map. In fact, tell you, let me go up here and see. You can see straight away as we get outside of this town, we have these ways of going up and down and sideways. And what that means is, when it comes to flanking opponents, when you're in firefights, especially in squads, instead of just trying to run from tree to tree or bush to bush, you could disappear behind, like, say, this is a good example here. Look at the different verticality here. So if somebody was, say, had the high ground up there, and we were getting involved in a firefight, obviously there's no cover, we're just on bare ground. But what there is, we could run around here, and all of a sudden, we're in cover. We could pop out up here. We could dip down into this defilade down here for cover, and then pop out there. I mean, we've still got the odd tree that we can do a bit of tree peeking around, but for the most part it isn't. I mean, look how open this is. Now I think that can make for some really interesting gunfights. It does mean you've got to be on your toes though, because you also have these massive sight lines. Here we go. Let me go over here now, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's get up onto this little hill here. Now imagine I had a sniper rifle with an 8 times scope on, or a 15 times scope on. Look how far I can see into the distance. I could take people out coming down there. I can see this whole town. I can see it into the distance over there. Absolutely amazing. And you just don't really get those lines of sight in Erangel, apart from maybe when you're on top of like Stolba or something like that. I mean, look how big this town is. This is bigger than, this is like North and South Gatka joined together. And this is only a small town, El Hazar. We've got Los Leones, which is a megalopolis compared to everything else. So, what I've found is I've really enjoyed my time on Miramar, and I'm really looking forward. I don't know, where am I going anyway? Let's just get into the circle. Let's just do some driving and then get into the circle. I really enjoyed my time on Miramar. I think the difference in gameplay cannot be underestimated. This simply isn't just a different skin for a PUBG game. The thought and the time that the PUBG team have put into creating this map means that you have to play in different ways. You can't play the same way that you do on Erangel. Miramar is quite simply harder, but that doesn't mean it's worse. Now, an interesting side effect to this as well is that with all these open sight lines, here we go, let's go up in here. Look at all these amazing open sight lines. With all these opening sight lines, obviously snipers can have, we put the handbrake on, snipers can have a bit of an advantage. And I understand what happens in the PC game is that sniping is easier because you can be more accurate with a mouse and keyboard. But on the console, especially because we don't have any aim assist, you tend to find that long range sniping isn't always that effective. And so I don't think the problem... Ooh, what did I bump into there? The problem with getting sniped, not being able to do anything, not being able to cover open ground as effectively, isn't quite as pronounced. Now there could be some improvements to Miramar, definitely. The biggest one for me is vehicle spawns. We need more vehicle spawns on these roads, even if they're just motorbikes. You know, sometimes if you can parachute to the outside of the map and be running for sort of 5 minutes and there's nothing, and because of the size of this map and the fact that you can't get across it very fast at all, you simply have to have access to motorbikes and things like that. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more loot as well, I think, in places, because sometimes it does seem like you've got to cover a lot of ground. Maybe even they could play with the speed that the circles change in, which could be interesting. But apart from that, I'm kind of pretty happy with the way that this map plays. It's very different from Erangel. As I said, it's taking PUBG up to the next level. It's harder, and I think, you know, it's a welcome change. And when we've got it in the mix with the other map, and then when we finally get Savage as well, I think we're all going to be very, very pleased indeed. Anyway, that's my kind of little review of the new Xbox One PUBG map, the Desert Map Miramar. Put your questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more of the same, please subscribe. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.